high atop in downtown Sarasota. On this episode of Why Sarasota, we are going to speak with the Sarasota SpeaX Podcast crew to learn a little bit more about the individuals and what inspired them to start it. Stick around. So guys, thanks for being on my show. You guys were welcomed me here a few weeks ago. Tell me, what do you guys do outside of Sarasota SpeaX?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead, buddy.
Wow, that's so kind of you. I own a Medicare call center called Signature Medicare Solutions. So we employ about 120 full-time employees right here in downtown Sarasota. It took off from 7 to, now over 100 just 3 years later. So that is pretty much all I do outside of Sarasota SpeaX, aside from hanging out with my family and my two beautiful boys and amazing wife.
That's awesome.
I'm the proud owner of Strong Roofing, and we try to and our goal is to grow bigger and save customers from bad roofers. There's a lot of bad players out there, and we want to do things the right way, and that's how we achieve our growth. And I'm proud to say that we are now expanding to Tampa as well. We're going to
Congratulations.
Taking our talents to Tampa.
Takeover,
Tampa takeover it is.
That's awesome. And unfortunately, we're missing Felipe today, who's wealth advisor, wealth management. Is that how you'd categorize him?
Correct.
Amongst other things, an incredible human being. Nonetheless.
Yes.
So, what inspired the podcast for you guys?
So I was
Wait
at
a
roof.
second, Trey. Can I answer that first? Let me answer the other one first, because I got to give credit to this man. He inspired the podcast in a large way. He came to me because I had a great video media guy that threw out some great edits in the insurance space, and he recognized that, and he said, "Hey, I want to pick your brain." And we met at Gecko's, Sarasota staple.
Sure.
And he told me about this idea to start a podcast called Sarasota SpeaX, and asked if I would be involved. And at that time, I was really trying to plant my roots in my hometown in a way that I hadn't before, and really focus on local. And that's how the whole thing started, and the rest is history. So huge credit to him as well. But you can talk about how you had the idea.
Yeah, so I got the idea from, industry-specific conferences. For me, it's roofing. We go to these roofing conferences, and they talk about you need to get your face on camera. And I thought, what better way? I don't want to just talk about roofing because nobody wants to watch that. I'd rather highlight my hometown. I was born and bred here, and I've always been ingrained in the community. I love Sarasota. I just wanted to highlight all the great parts of Sarasota.
Makes sense. That's kind of like, with me with Why Sarasota. It's like nobody wants to hear from a realtor all the time, right? What else is going on? What's the draw? And we're all very fortunate to have an awesome town to feature. Who's your ideal guest for the Sarasota SpeaX podcast?
I'll let you go first on that one, Trey.
Personally, I like interviewing the entrepreneurs, but as Brad says, it's any shaker or mover in Sarasota. So politics, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, artists, the celebrities, anything of that nature, anything that our audience would want to see on camera and hear their story.
Yeah, we want to hear from both those that are doing big things and that the community knows about, but we also want to hear from those that are doing big things that might otherwise be unknown to the community because they don't get on camera a whole lot, or they're not public facing all of the time, especially speaking kind of off the cuff in the format that we do. We've had some amazing guests that I don't know that have ever really talked off the cuff like they have on our podcast.
Sure.
Catherine Harris, Gary Kapothecris, a lot of amazing guests that, maybe are in the public eye, but not in the context of doing podcasts like they've done with us. So
Makes sense.
We've garnered some trust, and we want to, keep driving that.
And you guys are, 117 episodes now, I think?
100 and something for
119?
Sure. 119.
Where are we at, Eric?
117. Wow,
That.
he knows better than we do.
Did my research. Oh, shit.
Yeah, so 119. Okay.
You've filled 118. Where do you guys see yourselves taking this thing?
Well, Brad just got back from the Vault. It's a inspirational conference, so I think Brad should take this one.
It's not so much inspirational. It's a lot of it's very tactical, honestly, a lot of strategy. But it's not necessarily the Vault that led to this, but more so just, again, kind of the same reason we started the podcast, or for me, started the podcast, and that's just to really be kind of a major part of our community and make an impact in our community. And we've just kind of all been through some really crazy news last week with the shooting and all of the stuff going on in our country. And for me, I want to change you've heard the saying, right? You want to change the world, start with yourself, right? Well, one step further than that is you want to change our country, start with your community in your own backyard. And so I look at Sarasota SpeaX as an opportunity to continue to bring our community together, continue to highlight, again, those movers and shakers. And the next iteration of SpeaX, the next evolution of SpeaX, I believe, is more focused on impact, and specifically impact through, working with entrepreneurs and business leaders, and through coaching and conferences and events, and bringing the community together to really do something special right here in our own backyard. And there'll be a lot more to come on that.
Very cool. And speaking of your own backyard, I'm sitting in the room with two actual Sarasota natives, which is like a rarity in this town anymore. So like, give us a little bit of a flavor. Like, what was it like growing? What's your view on it? I should say, growing up, where it's currently at, and maybe what you guys hope for the future of the Sarasota community.
That's easy for me. Most people, I feel like, don't appreciate where they grew up until they've, grown up a little bit older. Sure. Not that either of us have grown older at all, but more so for me, leaving. And I always joke, like, I lived in Orlando for 3 years. It wasn't like I was across the country living in California, thank God. I was only in Orlando, but I didn't know what I had until it was gone. And that 3 years in Orlando, while it was very beneficial, I really enjoyed my time there. The community wasn't the same. And it's not just because I wasn't from there. It was because they don't have the same culture. It's not the same melting pot of people that all love where they're at. And large part, I would say, Orlando, the people are there because of business, or there's opportunity, or they just landed on Orlando, or maybe they like the theme parks like Eric does. But for me, being there was a real reminder of how much I love where I'm from, and so I grew this newfound appreciation for our community. And I always say that even if I have a house somewhere else, this will always be home. Like, sure. I will always have a home physically here as well, not just like it'll always be where my heart is. Like, I will always have a house here because I will always be a part of this community, not just for the next 20 years when I'm in business, but for the next 60 years that I'm going hard.
Good to hear.
That's optimistic on your lifespan, huh?
Well,
it is the found of youth down here.
Gotta have a little optimism, right? I'll be 95.
I have a very similar story to Brad. I went away to college in Pennsylvania, and it was eye-opening to me on what I took for granted growing up here. And for those 4 years up there, I preached to all my friends that they should absolutely move to Florida, specifically Sarasota, once they graduated, get the hell out of the cold, and come join beautiful Sarasota.
Awesome. Well, as a transplant, a New York refugee myself, I've come to love this area and really appreciate what you guys do. Another shout out to Eric for making you guys look incredible on camera. Not that it takes much effort, I'm sure, but he's doing a great job. And guys, I just appreciate your time today.
Rock and roll.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.